You know that feeling, right? It's this very specific physical sensation.
Hmm.
You unlock your phone, your thumb is just hovering over that little app icon. Maybe it's the flame, maybe it's the hinge, and you just let out this sigh.
Oh, yeah, that heavy, exhausted sigh.
It's that feeling of, I physically cannot do another talking stage. Or just that sinking feeling that everyone on there is, I don't know, disposable.
It is the universal fatigue of modern dating. And if you are feeling that right now, the first thing our sources say today is you are not failing at dating. The system is failing you.
That is a big claim, but it's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at a text called Swipe, Sigh, Repeat, and a really fascinating case study on a platform called the Blossom Society.
And the argument, the core idea, it completely reframes the whole problem.
Right. It says modern dating didn't get this exhausting because we all just suddenly got worse at love.
No, not at all. We didn't collectively lose our ability to connect over the last, 10 years. Our biology is the same.
Exactly. It became exhausting because the system itself started rewarding attention over attachment.
And that is the critical distinction. We're all in an environment that is designed for volume, not for actual care.
Huh.
So today, our mission is to audit that.
Okay.
We're going to break down why this high-volume dating creates what the research calls burnout behavior, and then use a framework, it's called SIFT, to see how design, specifically something called architectural safety, might actually be the fix.
I want to start there with burnout behavior because I think most of us hear burnout and just think,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Right. You sweat too much, your thumbs hurt, you need a nap.
Yeah. But this source describes it as something that's almost engineered, like it's a feature, not a bug of the system.
It is engineered. It's not random at all. The source is explicit. Burnout is the predictable outcome of high-volume, low-accountability interaction.
So what's the mechanism there?
Think about it. You have endless choice, which sounds good, but it's combined with constant evaluation. Every single swipe is a micro-judgment. Yes, no, hot, not maybe, pass.
It turns human connection into a repetitive performance task. It's like you're interviewing for a job every single day, forever.
And HR never gets back to you. Precisely. The brain just can't handle that level of objectification, both giving it and receiving it. It hauls you out.
Ow.
But what's really fascinating here is what the text calls the asymmetry of experience.
I found this so validating. The source argues that while the burnout is mutual, men and women both hate it, the road to getting there is structurally very different.
Right. They break it down by gender lines to show that split.
Yep.
So for women, the defining experience is summed up in one word: overwhelm.
Which makes perfect sense. I mean, for so many women I know, opening a dating app isn't like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's like being buried under the entire haystack.
Exactly. For many women, the sheer volume of incoming attention creates this huge cognitive load. It's the labor of screening, deflecting, assessing safety.
Just managing it all.
That becomes the cost of entry. You have to wade through a swamp of noise just to exist on the platform.
Which explains that sigh from the start. It's a defense mechanism. But then for men, the defining experience is the complete opposite. It's invisibility.
Correct. And this is where that empathy gap gets so wide. Many men report just a total lack of traction. They send messages into a void.
Just silence.
Silence. They match, and the conversation just dies before it starts. So you've got one group drowning in pressure and noise, and the other group starving for any kind of acknowledgement.
But, and this is where it gets really interesting, the source argues that even though those experiences are polar opposites.
The psychological result is the same.
Exactly the same.
Both sides end up narrowing their empathy. They start putting in less effort. They protect themselves with, a layer of cynicism.
The text has this great little vignette to illustrate this, with two characters, Maya and James. I think it's worth walking through.
Absolutely. So let's look at Maya. She's, say, E&M curious. We're just looking for a partner. She gets on a big mainstream app.
And is immediately flooded.
Inundated. Some messages are okay, some are pushy, but most are just super low effort, a wave emoji. And her evenings just become this triage process for her inbox.
And the insidious part is the guilt. I think that's the part we don't talk about.
Yes. Maya starts feeling guilty for not replying to complete strangers she never invited into her space. She feels rude for being overwhelmed.
She's trying to be a good person in a system that makes it impossible to be polite to everyone, so she just starts ignoring everyone to survive. And on the flip side, you've got James.
Right. James starts out thoughtful. He's trying to do it right. He reads profiles, writes respectful, specific messages, and he gets crickets.
Nothing.
Nothing. or a match that expires. So after weeks of this, what does James do? He adapts. He builds what the source calls a shield.
He stops trying so hard.
It's more than that. He mechanizes it. He starts sending shorter messages. He copies lines he sees on TikTok that are supposed to work. He becomes less warm.
And the source says he doesn't even like who he's becoming.
No, but he's just exhausted from investing all this energy for zero return.
That's the real tragedy. It's not that James is a villain or Maya is a snub. They're just adapting to a really hostile environment.
They're rational actors in an irrational system. And this brings us to a key insight from the text. What we call bad behavior, ghosting, breadcrumbing.
All that stuff.
It's really just risk-free bad manners. It thrives because your reputation doesn't follow you.
That is such a huge point. In the real world, if you just walk away from someone mid-conversation at a party, there's a social cost. You look like a jerk.
On an app, there's zero cost. You unmatch. The history vanishes. You can act without consequence. And that lack of accountability just rots the entire culture.
Okay, so if that's the problem, volume, asymmetry, no accountability, let's get to the root causes. Why is it built this way? The source points to 3 big drivers that feel very intentional.
Oh, they're intentional. It's not laziness. It's business model design. The first cause is incentive design.
Okay.
We have to remember, for most of these platforms, the user is the metric. The system gets rewarded for time on platform.
Keeping you swiping.
Exactly. It favors frictionless browsing and constant novelty because that's what keeps you engaged. If you actually found a partner and left, well, they just lost a customer.
So the app literally has a financial incentive for you to stay single. It's really depressing.
Or at least to stay searching.
Yeah.
They need you in the churn.
Yeah.
Hopeful enough to stay, but not so successful that you leave.
Okay, so that's cause number 1. What's the second?
The second is what the text calls relational illiteracy.
This one hit me hard. It sounds kind of harsh, like it's calling us all stupid, but it actually makes so much sense.
It's not about intelligence at all. It's about skill. The argument is that most of us were never actually taught consent language or conflict repair or how to set a clear boundary.
Right.
But then we're dropped into these high-speed, high-stakes interactions with total strangers and just expected to, what, improvise maturity.
It's like being thrown in the deep end of a pool without a swimming lesson and then wondering why everyone's just flailing around and panicking.
Precisely. We're operating way above our skill level. And then the third cause is gender script collision.
Ah, the elephant in the room.
It really is. This is the old world crashing into the new world. You have these old scripts men prove their worth through persistence, women manage risk, and wait to be pursued.
But those are colliding head-on with modern desires for, emotional intelligence and mutuality.
Right, so Jim, I'd be using a script from 1995 that says persistence is romantic, while Maya is reading a script from 2025 that says persistence without a clear yes is harassment.
And neither one knows the other is reading from a completely different book.
And that mismatch just creates resentment and confusion.
Okay, so we have this messy system. Bad incentives, no skills, conflicting scripts. But the source doesn't just leave us there. It offers a way to evaluate where you are. They call it the SIFT framework.
SIFT, SIFT teamwork. And you can use this like a diagnostic tool to audit an app or a relationship or even a community you're thinking about joining.
Let's break it down. What's the S?
S is for signal. Is the platform designed so people have to be clear about their intentions? Or can they just hide behind, vague vibes?
Right. In a burnout environment, the signals are always weak. You have no idea if let's hang out means sex or a relationship or just I'm bored on a Tuesday.
Exactly. A quality environment demands a clear signal. Then we have I.
Intent alignment. This has to be key. Is matching based on shared goals?
Or is it just superficial sorting? We both swiped right on a photo. That leads to intent misalignment. You end up playing different games on the same field. It's a disaster.
Okay, so S for signal, I for intent. Now, FF is for friction. And wait a second, usually in tech, friction is a bad word.
It is. Everyone wants a frictionless experience.
So why are they arguing for friction?
Because in commerce, you want buying a toothbrush to be frictionless. One click, done. But in human connection, friction is your friend. The source calls it friction by design.
What does that look like?
It means speed control, verification, education gates you have to pass through. Think of it like a heavy door on a private club versus the automatic sliding door at a supermarket.
A heavy door requires effort.
And that effort signals intent. If access to another person is too easy, we value it less. Friction makes you pause and think, do I actually want to send this message?
It forces a cognitive pause. Okay, that makes sense. And finally, T.
T is for trust and accountability. Does your reputation follow your behavior?
Ah,
If someone is consistently rude, does that stick to them? Or can they just delete their account and start over fresh? In a healthy system, there are standards and they're enforced. Without that, trust is impossible.
so that's SIFT. Signal, intent, friction, trust. Now, the source uses this case study, the Blossom Society, or TBS, to show what happens when you actually build with this framework.
Right, and it's important they present this not as a sales pitch, but as a design response, a counter-argument to the whole Tinder model.
They use this term I love, architectural safety.
It's a brilliant concept, isn't it? The idea that safety shouldn't be your individual burden to carry. It should be built into the walls of the digital space.
So Maya shouldn't have to block 50 people a day. The design should do the heavy lifting for her. How does TBS actually do that?
Well, first, they lean into that friction. They call it education before engagement.
Okay, what does that mean? You can't just sign up and start swiping.
No, that's the friction. You have to earn access. You might have to learn about consent or communication etiquette or the community's specific norms before you can send a single message. It treats relating as a skills domain, not a slot machine.
That immediately changes who's in the room. If you're just looking for a 2 a.m. ego boost, you're not going to sit through an education module.
Exactly. It filters for intent naturally. And then they have women-first controls, which are all about managing visibility and pace to reduce that screening burden we talked about with Maya.
So if we take Maya and James, our burned-out daters, and drop them into this environment, what happens?
Well, the design can't create chemistry. They aren't magically compatible. But the pace changes.
Okay.
Maya isn't being flooded, so she doesn't need to be so defensive. She can actually read James's profile. And James knows that everyone in that room passed the same tests, so he doesn't need his shield. He knows Maya is actually looking for connection.
So good behavior becomes the default, not the exception.
Precisely. The environment rewards adulthood.
Okay, but let's be realistic. Most people listening are still out there in the Wild West of the big apps.
True. The ecosystem is still mostly broken.
So how can you apply this architectural safety to your own life right now? The source gives some really practical advice on what good looks like, even on a bad app.
And the first standard is clarity over charisma.
That's a great bumper sticker. What does it mean?
It means valuing the person who says, here's what I'm actually available for, over the person who just says, let's just see what happens. We chase the witty banter, but the source says clarity is the sexiest trait there is right now.
And another one is slow is smooth.
Moving at a pace that preserves dignity for everyone. If you rush, you crash. It's about resisting that false urgency the apps create. You do not have to meet tonight.
Now, the source also gives something I think is absolute gold. It's a repair protocol, because we all mess up.
Oh, absolutely. We're human. We'll misread a signal, have a bad day, send a text that lands totally wrong.
And our usual reaction is to panic, or get defensive, or just ghost.
Right, so this is a 6-step protocol to handle it like a grown-up.
Walk us through it. And for everyone listening, this applies to everything: dating, work, family.
Okay, step 1, pause and regulate.
Yeah.
Do not type when you're in the heat of the moment. If your heart is pounding, put the phone down.
So important. Nothing good happens in the panic zone.
Step 2, name the impact plainly. Say, I can see that landed badly. You validate their reality. You don't say, I'm sorry you felt that way.
No, you say, I see the impact I had.
Acknowledgement, no gaslighting. Step 3, own your part without a lecture. No, well, I only did that because you did this. Just, I raised my voice, or I didn't communicate clearly.
And step 4.
Restate the boundary. Remind both of you what the goal is. I want this to feel safe and respectful. That puts you back on the same team.
And the last 2.
Offer a concrete fix. From now on, I'll slow down, or let's take a break for an hour. And then most important, follow through. The repair is only real if the behavior actually changes.
It's so simple, but we so rarely do it. We just think, this is awkward, and vanish.
This is relational literacy in action. It can turn a conflict into a moment that actually builds trust.
The source also gives us some boundary scripts, and I want to read a couple of these because they're so helpful for people who feel demanding when they state their needs.
Please do. They're great.
Okay, here's one for singles. You can put this in your bio or say it early on. Just so we're aligned, I'm open to connection, but I move slowly, and I'm big on clear boundaries. If you're looking for fast or vague, I'm not your person. If you're good with respectful and steady, we'll get on.
That is so powerful. It immediately pushes away the wrong people. If someone reads that and thinks, Wow, too much work. Good. You just saved yourself a month.
Exactly. Rejection is just data. And here's one specifically for men about their conduct. I'm here to do this well. If the answer is no, I'll take it cleanly. If it's a maybe, I'll respect your pace. I'm not interested in winning. I'm interested in mutual comfort.
I'm not interested in winning. Wow. That one phrase changes the entire game from a conquest to a collaboration. It tells the other person, you are safe with me.
It really does.
Yeah.
So we've covered the problem, the causes, the SIFT framework. How do we start? The source ends with a couple of audit actions.
Yes. And the big one is this. Cut your volume by 50%.
50. That feels so counterintuitive if you're trying to find someone.
It does, but remember the burnout logic. Cut the number of apps you're on. Cut the number of chats you have going. Cut it in half and just see what happens to your patients. When you're not drowning in noise, you can actually hear a signal.
And they say to replace all your guessing with one clean question. Ask, what does good look like for you in practice?
Yes. It forces them to define their terms. Does good mean texting every hour or meeting once a week? Don't assume. Just ask.
You know, as we wrap this, there's one final thought from the source I found really provocative. It's a bit of a contrarian take.
Oh, about the burnout itself.
Yeah.
The idea that
Yeah.
maybe burnout is actually useful.
How can it be useful? It feels awful.
It feels awful, but pain is data. You touch a hot stove, the pain tells you to pull your hand away. If the dating system is broken, burnout is your body screaming at you to stop participating in the breakage.
So it forces you to change your strategy.
It forces you to stop chasing volume and finally start choosing better. It pushes you to demand environments that, as we said, reward adulthood.
That's a great reframe. The exhaustion isn't a sign you're weak. It's a signal that the system isn't working for you. It's time to build a boundary that actually supports your humanity.
If a culture normalizes chaos, your nervous system is going to mirror it. So you have to choose where you play.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We'll leave it there. If you've been feeling that fatigue, hopefully this gives you a new lens and some practical scripts to handle it.
Absolutely.
Next time on the deep dive, we're staying in the world of relationships, but taking a sharp turn. We're going to be auditing what ethical actually means in ethical non-monogamy.
And why so many people skip the skills part and end up paying for it later.
It's going to be a good one. Thanks for listening.
See you then.